guy, I have Erma Mast with me. I believe that's your name, right? She has
Yes.
a YouTube channel called A Path Less Traveled. Here today because that only women, Amish women. So there's not a whole lot of women, or former Amish women. So this will be awesome.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
it's interesting that you say that. I feel I know more women than men, but probably just because I'm a woman.
Oh, gotcha. You say there are more women, men?
I guess that's what I thought, but
Oh.
I'm guessing it's just because that's what I'm a woman and then I see more women content. Yeah. But it's good to be on here today with you.
Yeah, why so you were raised Amish. Why tell us a little bit about where from you were raised and your story, I guess. Just a short.
Yeah, so I was born and raised Amish in what is known as the Holmes County Amish. We were in the Isaac Church, what is known as the Isaac Church Old Order, but there are so many different kinds of Old Order, so it would have been considered the Isaac Church within the Old Order. Born and raised, I have 10 siblings, and I was 22 when I officially left the Amish, and have continued to be able to see my family and so forth, but it's definitely been a journey coming out of it and trying to find my identity and find who I am in this culture and this lifestyle and so forth.
Hi, gotcha. Who's your guest? Yeah, we did introduce you a little early. YouTube channel, A Path Less Traveled. You have Instagram, Facebook? Are you on there as well?
Yes, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I'm most active on Facebook, but I do have both. If you put in Erma Mast, ERMAMAST on Facebook and Instagram, you should be able to find me.
Okay. Well, yes. So you left when you were 22. The church you said was it like a really strict one, like Schwarzenegger, a more modern one?
I would say we were one of the most modern or the most liberal Amish that there are around. So we had, so my parents can have the cell phone for certain things. They have solar panel which creates electricity for some things that they can have in the house. Like the buggies, they have plenty of lights. Their dress is pretty much any color. From the very most liberal.
Mm-hmm. So I'm from here in Shipshewana.
Okay.
Shipshewana Amish in Holmes County Amish kind of are similar to. They have a lot more. They have more diverse groups, right? The troopers there and some new org.
Okay. You're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if it's just on my end or if it's in general. Kind of like I can hear plainly or I can't hear at all, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But I would agree. Holmes County has at least 12 different kinds of Amish. We have New Order, we have New Order, and then we would have been what would have considered the Isaac Church, and then there's Taupe, and there's Dankme, and there's a few different Swartz and Trooper, and Ape Troyer, and so many different ones. Mana says, sounds like your mic breaking up here too. Are we both breaking up?
Probably. Is that better? Am I breaking up now?
That sounds better, I think.
Okay. Maybe I'll just take that off. I didn't want feedback going through the the microphone, but we'll just try it like this. Yeah. So, and then you left at 22. Just briefly, what was the reason that you left? Your testimony's online. or
Right.
on your YouTube
I'll share
channel?
briefly and then we can get into kind of the topics. But the main thing was I felt God speaking to me. I accepted Christ at 13, and I felt God speaking to me and telling me to leave I thought of it ever. And so it was a journey of, is this really God? It was the most verbal that I ever heard him speak in my life. And it was that I wrestled for years. Is this really God speaking, or like it? But every time I tried to push it off, I didn't have peace. I tried to squash it out, I didn't have peace until I was like, okay, God, if this is what you're going to tell me to do, I'm willing. I'm willing to do whatever. And every time I would be open to that, doors would open. And it took me years with wrestling with it, but with time, I was like, I'm all in. And after I was open to it, I started seeing scriptural things, the things that we were practicing in our culture that I did not feel matches up with scripture. And it was like all of a sudden light bulbs went on, and more and more truth came. So um, yeah, it was a long journey of even, and I'm still learning a lot, but it was finally came to like there were just so many things that I couldn't agree with the cultural practices and beliefs.
Yeah. So we are still breaking. Am I still breaking up with you too?
I can hear you now.
You're fuzzy now for some reason. I don't know why that. How's it now, guys? Let us know.
Amish, Ohio, Holmes County is a very mixed area of Amish church, and my background came from Ape Trier Church. Okay, very interesting, Daniel. Yeah, I'm familiar with Ape Trier. You are no, yes, she is. I don't have any microphones or anything I can change much.
That's weird. I don't know. I don't really want to restart. Hey, living on a dime. So.
Hello, Andrew. Hello, Daniel.
Yeah, so weird.
Dominic, Martha, welcome. So you are good now.
No. So I wonder if I would just going to be an issue. So hey everybody, we're having a here. A live, take her out, and bring her back in. I might just do. Oh, there we go. Yeah, yeah. Let's see if we can. Nope. Weird.
Broken up.
That was weird. So what if I kick you out and you try to bring you back in? Maybe that will work.
That.
Because they can hear you, but you're crackly for some reason, and I'm suspecting it's just a connection thing of some sort.
Yeah.
So I'll kick you out, and then we'll just have you come back in.
Perfect.
So while she's doing that, guys, I am going to add her channel's link in the description box periodically. There she is. Let's see if hopefully this will work. All right. How's
All right.
that?
How does this sound now?
You sound good from my end.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds probably just me doing something with my headphones. That's
yeah,
good.
Internet is cool when it works, right?
Yeah. Also, when sometimes I wonder if the gospel, Satan doesn't want the gospel shared. Okay, better woohoo. Thank you, Mona. I think that's your name. How you pronounce it, I'm not sure. Yeah, thank you for your help with letting us know how that's going. So, yes, I did share your channel link in the chat, and I will be doing that periodically. So for everybody who's just stopping in, this is Erma Mast with the channel A Path Less Traveled from Holmes County, Ohio. Yeah. So yeah, it does sound like it's better.
Good.
I don't know if we want to redo all that. I think they can just go back and watch it. One of the questions I kept getting periodically was cleaning. Like, how do Amish women clean their house? Like, what do they do? And I, having had 7 sisters, I didn't do a whole lot of cleaning. I did dishes when I was young, but that's it. So can you, because Amish people have very clean houses, right? Can you
Right.
explain how that's all done?
Yeah. So I guess I live by myself, and so I'm guessing I still use a lot of the same things, and I don't even know exactly what everyone else outside of the Amish use. But we did, in general, we did our cleaning on a Saturday, and I have 6 sisters, so there was mom and 3 of us older girls that would split up and each have a part of a house. Mom was often in the kitchen cooking and baking and stuff, and then we had 4 younger sisters, and one of them would help each of us bigger sisters with our part. And we used hot water with lots of soap, with a rag, and washed it that way. It was more that way versus using spray and paper towels. And so general cleaning, just sweeping the floor, mopping the floor every week, um, dusting, washing the chairs and the furniture in the kitchen. Um, Something that I've noticed that is really different in this culture is we always did spring cleaning and fall cleaning, and we typically had church in the fall. So in the fall we would do all of our ceilings, our walls, and all of the clean out the storage. Like everything would get clean from the top to bottom, and it was such a good feeling. It was a lot of work, very hard work, but it was such a good feeling. And I still do that. I do mine in the spring, but I do all of the, and that is something we automatically did it because we had church at our homes. And I've noticed that many people, I do in-home cleaning for a living, part-time job. I clean houses and do help with housework. And some people like never wash off their walls. In the years I've been there, they've never washed off their walls. And they get maybe the spider webs as we go kind of thing. So that's been something that's really different. I still do my ceilings and my walls once a year. My parents and some of my siblings came a week ago, and they did all my walls and my ceilings and washed off all the furniture and moved my furniture and get all the things off the walls and wash them. And it's like a thorough clean. So I don't actually know too much about a family general cleaning in this culture because I'm single and I bring my own waste with me, I guess. But I still like hot soapy water, even with, I clean homes, and most of them are like, what do you like? And I'm like, if you have soap, hot water and soap is my preference. And
Just dishwashing soap, or what kind of soap?
I use a lot of Mrs. Meyer's or Norwex. Norwex is my favorite brand. It is really expensive, but it is really clean and it's very natural. So personally, I don't. If you're familiar with Norwex, they have the cloth that you just need water with. You don't actually need additional soap for general cleaning. So that's what I use in my home. But most people prefer something that has scent to it and has a little more. Then I use Mrs. Meyer's or Method brand of soap. It's not the best in the world, but it is a healthier version of soap. Murphy's oil soap is something that is very common and is my older people all have Murphy's soap. My mom always had Murphy's soap. It smells really good, really clean. Um, I would say we cleaned with, a few basic products. We didn't have a product for every little different thing. We used more of a all-purpose for literally everything.
I see. So you didn't have a toilet bowl cleaner and then some window washing fluid and or spray and then, yeah, I see. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I remember the Murphys in my mom's cabinets.
Okay.
Yeah. So what? So when it came to windows, did you guys use vinegar like my siblings or my sisters did as well?
Yes, we use most like vinegar and dish soap together, with a microfiber cloth. They do have Norwex, a lot of Norwex too, and those you just need the cloth in water, and then you dry it with a window cloth. So that is now how they do it. But when growing up, we would always, vinegar and dish soap in hot soapy water or hot water, and That was when we actually didn't prefer Windex, and I still don't prefer Windex. I don't know. It's just
Gotcha. That's interesting. Yeah, and then Norwex is a hot brand around here. I remember. I'm not interested in it, but I know a lot of the ladies like it for sure.
Mhm.
My sisters are all users of it. But yeah. So anyway, you guys have questions for Irma? Just ask them in the chat. We're watching that.
I see Tracy says, I use Norwex too, no toxic chemicals. Thank you for sharing that information. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I like the non-toxic stuff. It's just really better for you. Murphy's or vinegars and Frankendal. Yep, those are two like my favorite.
That's the first one. Yeah. So yeah, once again, guys, go subscribe to her channel. And watch her. I don't know how many videos you have up. I think I watched most of them. Your testimony. There is a cleaning video on there, isn't there?
There is, yes. I have a cleaning video that I use, and I could actually do an updated one sometime, but I have changed my things a little bit, but I do have a cleaning video. I have my testimony, and just some Q&As and different things from my past and background.
Mm-hmm. How old were you when you guys had to start cleaning?
I don't remember personally because I was probably too little, but I have a niece that is 2, and they were here cleaning my house, and we didn't expect her to help, but trust me, she wanted to help. So we gave her a microfiber cloth, and she sure did whatever she could around here. They don't want to miss out. So I feel mom always encouraged us to help us as little as we possibly could, and we wanted to. I think at the time that little ones want to is the time to teach them, or that's when we were taught, because that way they learn to love it and feel included. It makes them feel important. And so I would say, we didn't have probably not responsibilities as a 2-year-old. We could have a cloth and wipe whatever we wanted to wipe, but the first things that I remember were like washing off chairs in the kitchen sinks, the front of the kitchen cabinet. And those were things that it wasn't particular how it was washed, but it was something that it made us feel important and to help mom.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And it takes a little bit of patience to teach the kids, doesn't it?
It does. Sometimes, we'd be like, you go play, it would actually be helpful, but yeah.
That's something I've noticed Amish women, though. They do have the patience to teach them. They know that it's healthy to take the time, and even though they could do it a lot faster,
right?
But to raise up their kids. Yeah. So yeah, everybody, thumbs up. Get this video out there. I wonder what paired. I wonder what that means. So how did you come up with the name A Path Less Traveled? From Jeffrey. Jeffrey is asking that.
Yeah, I think I have been, at one point I remember there were different things that kept popping in my mind, and then I just write it down, and eventually that was just one of them that popped up in my mind. I don't know that then I wrote it down, and I'm like, already I am in the process of writing a book, and every time something comes to my mind, maybe that would be a good title, and I'll write it down, and then by the time I'm ready for it, I'll probably go through and see kind of what I then think feels best.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's good. It's a nice name. Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Are you the only one not Amish in your family? I have one sister that is Mennonite. She lives in Pennsylvania and is conservative Mennonite, but all of the others are all Amish. There is one brother that is New Order Amish, and the others are all still in the Holmes County, Ohio area that are Old Order.
So that's interesting. So those two, you said conservative Mennonite and the New Order. So what do they believe? Is their doctrine aligned with yours, or how's that? Is that another? You don't have to answer that one if you don't want to, but.
I would say even the ones that live at home in the same church don't all believe the same. So I think most of us in all the different churches would agree that salvation is through Christ, and accepting Him through our Savior. But in general, most of our beliefs, they're just all so very different. Now, the Mennonite sister and I, we agree on pretty much everything. Although she dresses conservative and she would have a little bit a different view on dress, but even the ones that live at home and in the same house, everyone has different opinions.
Uh-huh. That's interesting. I don't know anybody who's Mennonite, so I've never had that conversation with anybody. I don't know what they actually believe. So yeah, that'd be interesting to discuss that with some people. So some Mennonites, and then the New Order Amish, do they believe in the same things as Amish? They're just allowed to have a few more things, or do they have a different?
I would say anymore, the New Order are, in many ways, the Old Order have more things than the New Order. The New Order, they are more open to having Sunday school, and especially where my brother's at, they would have some teaching in English. They would promote reading the Bible in English. They would be less strict with the shunning for most people in general. But as far as some things, they would be more conservative as far as, for sure, the women's dress. They would be have a stricter opinion of exactly how that should look like, and they don't have the cell phones. They're more strict with some technology, and they don't change as much, where the Old Order, especially at our church where I come from, they keep changing and changing and changing all the time. They are now have the cell phones. They now, I can't keep up. And the New Order think that's not good. They don't have their own convictions as to so the Old Order, really drift a lot faster than the New Order. So to this day, I would say the New Order in many ways are more conservative than the Old Order. Material.
Okay. That is news to me. I didn't know that. That is very interesting. Huh. I know, like, I kind of always thought New Order were more strict with their youth than Amish were. But your youth, how did that, because I know we went out, I did the Rumspringa thing, and we were in Ohio, Holmes County, a couple times for parties. Was that something you guys did, or that was not?
Yeah, no, we did not. I mean, there were others that did. So when I turned 16, we had an organized youth group of an average of 100 youth that we would have singings pretty much every Sunday night. We would get together to have a meal and sing. And then we would have a lot of, especially now, they help out with disaster aid projects a lot in different states. They help with Christian Aid Ministries projects. They have a lot of volleyball games, birthday parties, types of things, very organized. Now, if there are some here and there that might have vehicles, but then those two were very separate, and I actually don't know much about those because I wasn't part of those. But I would say for the most part, people you were expected to follow, join the youth, and the Rumspringa was something we did not approve of, or it's not encouraged at all. I think my parents actually remember when that changed. At the time my parents were youth, they know the people that started the youth group, and my parents were part of that group that came together on a Sunday night and started just every Sunday night come together at a kitchen table to sing instead of going out to party. And with time that grew, which is now hundreds and thousands of youth.
Oh, wow.
And, every time that gets too big, then they split in half, and then when, it gets 150 to 200, then they split in half, and then it's another one. And so that is actually, my parents remember when that started. Before that, it would have been just Rumspringa.
I see. Gotcha. Yeah. Because I was never part. We have those youth too here, or still do, I think. But I was never really part of them either. I took the bad route, and I agree with your parents. It's not, or I agree with them. It's not a good road to go down. So, and then here's another question from Diane. Do your relatives go to church with you when you're visiting? Or can you go to Amish church when you go home?
Yeah, so I have never had any Amish go to church with me. I live about 7 miles from my parents, and about six to 7 miles within all of my family that lives around here. So they have never been to church with me. Um, they might come to visit, like for my birthday, or I invited them for spring cleaning, and they came and helped me spring clean. But they have not gone to church with me yet. I don't expect that that will really happen. Um, and can I go to the Amish church? Yes, I have been to the Amish church a few times. Two of my sisters got baptized since I left, so I went to their baptismal services. And then this past fall, when they had church at their house, I decided to go. And I wear a dress or a skirt and blouse when I go, and I don't wear jewelry. But they are very accepting of me coming, and a lot of people came and talked, and I'm very well accepted in their church.
Mhm.
And I know I'm welcome to go, at any time I would want to.
Well, that's awesome. That's kind of how it is here.
Okay.
It's good to know that you can still see your parents, and yeah, they even came over to help you clean. That's there's a lot of bad about talk about Amish people out there, and there's still bad stuff that goes on. But then you turn around and they do that, right? And it's like
Right.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of good people. Yeah.
So you
Um,
would be able to interact with your family as well.
yes, I can. Yep, I can. Yeah. So yeah, I was shunned for a year and a half because I did join the church, but then after like we still interacted. I just didn't eat with them. I was living in Idaho, so it was really easy. But yeah, and then after that, we're just matter of fact, I took them on a little road trip, like they rode with me. So,
Okay. So they
so
took that communication officially off, or they're just not practicing it.
what's that?
So you said they drive with you, and it's no longer shunning. Is it officially taken off? The shunning excommunication
Mhm.
off?
Yeah, the
Okay.
shunning was yeah. So yeah, the bishop got a hold of me. He said, "Hey, I think it's time to lift the shunning," because he'd heard I'd been attending a church in Idaho. So he's like, "Hey, just send me a letter from your pastor that you're an upstanding member, and we'll lift the shunning." Like, I know a lot of churches don't do that. There's even some around here that don't do that. Was that the case? Were you a member? Did you join the Amish church and then leave, or were you never a member?
Yeah, I was a member for about 4 years or so, more or less. So yeah, I was a member, and then I got shunned or excommunicated, and that is still on. I talked with the bishop sometime after I had left about having it off, and he would actually want to, but he said he talked with the others of the ministry, and the issue is that I don't wear a head covering, and so that's kind of as far as it went, I guess. So I don't know. I do know it happens sometimes, and I didn't actually know that ever happens. It would have been tempting to dress conservative for a while at least.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because you
But I
could have worn
didn't.
the head covering for a while, right? And then
Right.
and
But I didn't know. I didn't know that would have made a difference. And so I don't know. I don't know if it will ever be taken off or not. But they have never driven with me. But some of them eat with me and some of them don't.
I see. So they have to still. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, hopefully that will be resolved someday. I don't know. The head covering is probably kind of a hard line. If they don't, yeah. So one of some of the other comments I get is about Amish women, the wives. That I think the non-Amish women, or maybe especially women in cities or whatever, they view Amish women as they have to be submissive, and they have to do what their husbands say, and they're like almost slaves. I don't know how to explain that exactly, but is that the case, or are Amish women happy where they're at, or what? I can't ever answer this question because I just don't know. I'll never be in their spot, so I don't know. But yeah, maybe you can.
I do. No, I don't think I've never seen them as being like slaves. I do know they work hard, and they're known for their hard work and having a lot of kids, and so forth. I think that's an interesting perspective because now, from me coming from that into the non-Amish world, I feel women work so much harder because oftentimes they're working a full-time job or a few part-time jobs, and they have kids and they're doing their housework. So to me, it feels like how do these women even do it where the Amish women don't work away from home, so that is their full-time job, is taking care of the house and taking care of the kids. And I always dreamed of, that was my thing. I would grow up and get married Amish and have kids and be a housewife. Like, I look forward to that. Was a desire I had, and I never thought anything bad about it or never thought it would be, and I do like that I have the option of working if I want to now, if I ever get married. But I, and I'm sure there are women out there that are, have abusive husbands or are being kind of overworked and whatever. And there was a time that I remember that my mom often was overwhelmed and stuff because she had 11 kids, and at one time we all lived at home. So of course she was overwhelmed. But I wouldn't say that they're, slaves or dad. It's very, very traditional where the man brings home the money and the woman takes care of the kids. But dad always provided well, and mom was taken care of. Mom could take care of the kids and so forth. And they enjoy it. Like, they love what they're doing for the most part. I don't know of really anyone that would say no, they don't love that.
That's kind of what I see, and they really enjoy their role that they have. But I don't know. It was kind of interesting because we drove through some Amish communities this weekend and some stricter Amish communities. And I mentioned it to my wife. Like I'm talking like strict, like Schwarzentrooper type, and I told her, like, the women never look happy. The buggies when you drive by them, and she's like, well, the women in your community never look happy either. But so that do you know anything about the Schwarzentroopers? Could that be the case with them?
I would.
Aside from being physically or sexually abused in that way,
right?
That's kind of a side case, but
right, that's a whole other story. And I would say, yeah, we had Schwarzentrooper Amish neighbors, and we really noticed that they were not, at one point, the one family, they were just not happy, and it seemed they did have a father that was very, you do this and you do that, and it was kind of like they did a lot of work, and there was some fear there. But I wouldn't say, and then they moved, and there was another Schwarzentrooper that moved in, and those kids come to the door with the sweetest smiles, and they seem so happy. So I would say, it really varies, just like it does for all of us. It varies what are happening in our lives and where are we at, and what is, we have good days and bad days. And I would say in general, they're not as expressive as the non-Amish. So they're not, they don't show a lot of affection. They don't, both, even the negative things, they might just not talk about it as much if they're not feeling as good, or if they're not having as good of a day. There wouldn't be as much expression in either way, good and bad, maybe. So it just kind of feels more flat.
Gotcha. That's maybe what we're seeing. I just remember too in my youth that the girls, for the most part, obviously there might be the odd one here and there, but I shouldn't call them odd, but just the different personality one here and there. But for the most part, the girls were looking forward to finding a husband and taking that role as a stay-at-home mom and raising kids. So I don't know, like if they could just freely go, do you think most of them would, or would they stay where they're at? If they could just leave and go vacation somewhere for the rest of their life, would they choose that, or would they stay with their families?
I think many of them would stay.
Yeah.
I really think many of them would stay. From 14 to 16 or 17, I was mom's helper at home. And so there was always, a lot of work. I would not have traded that for anything in the world. Like, I love that. It was very fulfilling. And I would say I had too much responsibility. Maybe I took too much responsibility for my age because mom was overwhelmed. So I was kind of the second mom to my younger siblings. But I loved it. Like, it was fulfilling, and seeing the smiles and including them, or getting things done. It's just when you have a whole bunch of laundry to do and you have that done in 2 or 3 hours, like, that's a big accomplishment. It feels good. And I don't think they would trade that for and they like their vacations for a while, but not just that they would want to get out of it.
They like their little breaks here and there. Yeah. I would agree. I think it's the best situation for any family is a stay-at-home mom raising the kids. We send our kids off to schools and somebody else is raising them, and the best people to raise the kids is usually the parents. Good, loving, godly parents. So yeah, that's interesting. I know some of the comments and the questions I get about that. I know where they're coming from, and they're coming from the world, and it's sad that they grew up in those situations. They don't know how good it can be, I think.
Right.
Yeah, make sure you guys hit that smash button. Let's have more likes than viewers. Get this out there. And don't forget to subscribe to A Path Less Traveled, Erma's channel. I'll put that link down here again. And check out her videos. You're uploading videos regularly again, correct?
I'm pretty much more the last while, yes. I've been trying to do better. There will be a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers, so I've been trying to make that happen. And yes, I usually upload Wednesdays, try to Wednesdays, and then sometimes a bonus video in between.
Gotcha. Yeah. Let's get her to 1,000 subscribers. And I YouTube takes effort, doesn't it?
It does. You can't just, it takes intentionality to know what to talk about. And I like to kind of do research and read about it or learn about it and make notes and a whole thing. Yeah, it's not as simple as it appears.
Yeah, I know. All you gotta do is record yourself and throw it up there. But yeah, there's
right.
more to it.
Yeah.
So, another question here. It seems like a lot of Amish have a lot of money. Is it because a lot of them are business owners? That I can answer that too for here, but I don't know if I can answer that for Ohio.
Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, here the RV industry is was booming. It's not booming so much anymore, but they make big bucks at the RV industries. They go in there and they work really fast, really hard. They get paid piece rate. So they make close to $100,000 a year working less than 40 hours a week. There are some business owners, some of the factories, the cabinet shops who are, I think there's a blessing behind their morale. Like anytime a person follows God's morals, I think there's a blessing behind that, and they just prosper. So a lot of these cabinet shop guys and other businesses, I think, they do have a lot of money. Not all of them. There's some poor Amish. But yeah, go for Ohio. You don't have the RV factories, so.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the RV factories already. I would say they have business owners. That we have a lot of business around here, and I would say that different businesses do very well, and I think many Amish also don't have credit cards, and that is something I noticed. Is even the way that they live helps them save money too. We never had a credit card. To this day, most of my family does not have a credit card. So unless they have money in their bank, they will not buy it. I don't really think they have, as far as clothing, haven't noticed much of a change. I think the way I live is cheaper as far as clothing goes, but they don't have, they don't go to spas, they don't have facials, they don't wear makeup and jewelry and do their hair or their nails, and they don't spend money unless they have it because they don't have credit cards. And so I think that is from what I've coming out of that, and if I've noticed in this culture, is how much money people spend on, just keeping themselves up, getting their hair cut, their hair colored or done, makeup and jewelry, and just having a lot of clothing. I grew up with having a few sets, enough for, especially when I was still growing, we had like 4 sets of everyday clothing, and then we would wash them and rewash them and wear them and wash them. We didn't have loads and loads of clothing. We never went out to eat. I don't think we ever went out to eat as a whole family unless we were on a trip. So we made pretty much most things from scratch, and I think we bought a lot of things in bulk. Like we got 50-pound bags of flour and oats and sugar, and everything was in the 50-pound bags, you know. And I think there's a lot of things like that that saved us a lot of money too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think using the money in wisely and in that way is very well known for them.
Yeah, yeah. And then another thing, now that you talk about that, not having a car is huge too. I think it's, horses and buggies are probably almost as expensive as cars, but you don't just run to town really quick to grab a Subway sandwich or something, because it takes a lot more effort. And you just, when you don't have a car, you can't go as many places as we can, and you just don't spend as much money. You spend time at home. So,
Yeah.
stay at home.
Yeah, that's true, because I've noticed as I have my license for a little over a year now, and it is so easy to just stop in somewhere to get something, or grab food on the go and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, we just didn't. We made a list of things, and then if we did get a taxi or if we did go on the road, we had a whole thing to do.
Yeah, that's right. The taxi drivers, they love that. Can we stop here? Can we stop there? Can we?
He says you somehow have 2 feeds happening right now. Most are watching the other feed.
I saw that. I don't know why. I checked and I didn't see a second feed on my channel. Maybe I just can't see it. Or maybe they're talking about you. I'm not sure. On my channel.
Nope. I was trying to look. Yeah. I see just 1, 2.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess we'll erase the one if we need to.
Yeah. So keeping going here. There's some more. DW Hostetler says, if everyone smashes the thumbs up, I'll take off my hat. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I have this light shining right at me. It makes me look balder than I am. Maybe next Sunday. We used to raise boys to be men and girls to be women, but nowadays, Andrew Donnelly. Yeah, Andrew, I think the Amish still hold on to that pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I see some backsliding here in our community, unfortunately. But
Amish furniture is some of the best high quality. That's true. That is true.
Yeah, I agree. It is some very good stuff. And like I have a furniture shop video in my editor. As soon as I get time to finish that, I'll be putting that up there.
Okay.
What else? I know there was. How did they store the bulk food? Bonnie EU. Yeah.
We mostly kept it in bags, the 50-pound bags we would have in our pantry, and then just open the top and scoop out in a smaller container that we had in the kitchen, and then we would just kind of roll it close, and pretty simple. We didn't do anything fancy.
Mm-hmm. So you guys did have a lot of bulk food that you bought.
Flour and sugars and things like, we as a big family, we always did in 50-pound bags.
Yeah. Did your mom add beans to everything too to help supplement the hamburger and all that stuff?
Not beans. We didn't have much beans.
Oh.
We did add the saltine crackers and a little bit of oats and eggs to the hamburger. That would make them softer and make them go a little further.
Yeah. I remember my mom, because we had 12. I had 11 siblings, so there's 12 of us.
Okay.
But mom always, like in the spaghetti or something, there was always beans and then meat with the meat and stuff. I think try to make it go further or cheaper. There's no way to live with the Amish. Why is this not?
Parrot says, I belong to an Amish food club that delivers to Northern BMD. I noticed there are other websites that look like my Amish farmer's website. Do you know anything about the Amish food club business? I've never heard of that, I don't think, of Amish food clubs.
Not unless it's like the one that Amos Miller, Amos Yoder in Pennsylvania, one like that, where they're doing, like, there's an Amish farmer in Pennsylvania. He's gotten into trouble, but it's a bad situation. Like, yeah, I don't know if you've heard about that or not. He has members that he sells dairy to and butchers his own animals and sells them meat. I don't know. That would be a food club, I guess. There's other names for it, but otherwise, I don't know what they would be talking about.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Kimberly Friday says only 12 thumbs up. Come on, guys. 47 thumbs up. Evidently, there's a mix-up on feeds here, but that's
what
okay.
does ROAM mean on your hat stand for?
Rome? I don't know. It's just a hat that says Rome. I think it's just Buffalo Rome. I don't know. I picked it up at a farmer's market. Don't forget about the side businesses. My corgi is from neighboring Amish farmer. Yeah. So they do. Amish do. I don't know about your area, but I know here they do. They all try to have a side business. Is that the case out there, or a lot of them? You guys probably have a lot of construction.
We do have a lot of construction, and I guess that, yeah, I think a lot of them do have side business. I never thought of it really, but my dad usually has something on the side going on, and right now my youngest sister is 20, so my mom no longer has little ones, and she has at least 2 side businesses with sewing and baking.
Oh, really? So, wow. So does she bake for somebody, or she just sells it out?
Mostly does bread for Amish churches. So if an Amish church has it at their house, they'll order from her and she'll bake. Or some other occasions people might want bread, mostly bread that she does. And then sewing, she sews the women's blazers, the women's dress coats that she has orders for. I don't know how many stores, or just orders one-on-one that she takes.
I see. That's, yeah. Kyrie asked, do you guys still cook Amish meals?
I would say yes. I still cook from scratch pretty much everything. It's just the way I prefer things and the way I eat very healthy, and I think that is just some of the most simple ways, I guess, for me, because that's what I know. But yeah, I would still say I have a lot of Amish in my cooking.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, my wife does the cooking, so I don't. I would say it's Amish-like food. I don't know. Amish don't really have a specific. I know everybody's probably used to seeing the mashed potatoes and the noodles and the dressing and the meatloaf or whatever it is, but Amish or our Amish anyway, eat whatever. They'll have nights where they eat tacos, or my cousins has even made Chinese food quite a bit.
So a question that I would have for you was your wife from the Amish?
She's not. No, she was from Idaho, but
okay.
She ended up being a pretty good cook, so I was kind of blessed with that.
Nice. That's nice. Did you have problems with mouses? Every now and then we would have a mouse or two that we would catch, or we would notice that we would have a mouse. I think that's kind of same as everyone else, probably. Some places. I don't have mice here. I've never had mice here, but I'm sure we've caught a few mice at my parents'.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
Yeah, usually the cleaner you keep a house, the less problem. I'm sure we had mice, but I never really noticed them that much. Maybe in the basement. I don't know.
Cassidy says, are you allowed to dress how you want when you're going home, or do you have to dress more conservative? So I started I always wore a skirt when I went home, and then to my parents. And then for a while they had never really said anything, and I started wearing pants because sometimes if I worked closer to the area, I would go over for dinner, and it was okay until for a while, and then they asked that I would always wear a skirt when I come. So other than a skirt, and I would always wear something with sleeves. That is kind of the only different thing that I would change if I go. So it's just a skirt or a dress and something with sleeves.
They definitely they appreciate the conservativeness. I know my parents always point out when they're out in public and they see other people dressed in dresses and stuff. I don't know if there's similarities there or something, but
Right, they feel like a connection or something.
yeah. And then the Bonnie U, what kind of sewing does your mom do?
She would make her own dresses and like pants for my brothers. And then she makes the women's coats, women's dress coats. It's like we call them blazers. I don't know if that's still a thing in the non-Amish world or not, but a black dress coat that is kind of a thin dress coat for the women that she takes orders and makes for others.
Oh, that's interesting. No suit coats for guys or anything like that.
I would not to sell. I think she's maybe made some for my brothers, but I don't think she does to sell.
I see. So Andrew asked if I'm open to store. Yes, hopefully next weekend I'll have that running. My dad made some belts, so that'll be the first product going up, and then we'll just go from there. But we'll just talk about that more next Sunday. I don't know the difference between Amish and Mennonite. Forgive me if it was already mentioned. It wasn't. Kimberly, I don't know. Do you want to explain do you know the difference between Amish and Mennonite? Is that something you want to explain?
Yeah. So I grew up with Mennonite. We had actually had Mennonites in our Amish school, and now my sister is Mennonite, and we had Mennonite neighbors too. So, just what you could see would be the most differences that you could just physically see would be the Mennonites would drive cars instead of horses. They would wear a head covering that is smaller. Sometimes it's like more of a thin fabric scarf type of head covering, or sometimes it's a small see-through head covering, and they would wear like a cape dress, but it could have flowers and prints on it, where the Amish ones would have to be very plain, no prints. They would be less conservative. I don't know if you have something that you wanted to add to that.
Other than the physical differences, I wouldn't know. And Mennonites range from almost Amish as far as conservative to like just like anybody else out there.
Right.
Normal English. So yeah, it really depends on which Mennonites, I think.
Nadia says, he's Andy. Do the Mennonites use more technology?
I think she was asking Andy in the chat, but you can answer that one. Do the internet? Yeah. So yeah, you were just saying they do have usually cars and electricity, right? Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to share?
Not in particular. I did share quite a bit of things on my YouTube channel, so you can go check that out. And if you have specific big topics that you can always, ask here or message us later, either of us, and we can do another one or answer the questions whenever we can.
Because I know you have a video on your minimalist cleaning, correct?
Mm-hmm. I live a pretty minimalist lifestyle where I keep things really simple and live with minimal stuff.
I need to get my wife to watch that video. She has all the different cleaners, drives me nuts. But she does it, so I'm not. I just kind of keep quiet. But yeah. And then we're at. We don't want to share that, but yeah, Holmes County. Holmes County is a beautiful area. The rolling hills. I was always jealous. We get flatlands here in Shipshawana, and you guys get beauty. You guys have to have bigger horses typically to pull those buggies up the hills, right?
I don't know really. Where I was actually in the Wayne County side of it, so we didn't have as many hills as like the Holmes County, where it's really hilly. When my brother lived down there by the hills, he had to get a bigger horse. The horse he had just wore him out. He had a hard time keeping her in good shape. So I guess I never really thought of that, but maybe we did. We had small horses too, though. So I guess we just had to learn how far they can go, how well do they handle the trip, and that type of thing.
I see. Yeah, Yeah, interesting. Another question I have is, you mentioned you had Schwarzentrooper neighbors. So was that just the church next door, or were you guys mixed in with each other?
We were all mixed in with each other. So my
Really?
dad's the land that is attached to my dad, next to my dad, the one site was Schwarzentrooper Amish, one site was Dan Church, and the other two sites were Tope Church. And we were all on different churches, but we were next door neighbors. So yeah, we drove to our church, and there could be, a church. Yeah, we were all mixed in with each other.
No way. That's got to be, that had to be, yeah.
Same, went to the same school as like at least 5 other kinds of churches. It was just normal. Like we never thought much of it. So in Indiana, you don't have as many different kinds of Amish. Is that correct?
Yeah, no. I don't even know if we have New Order Amish here. Maybe now, but yeah, we might have now. I don't know. But most everybody here in the Elkhart, LaGrange County areas and the surrounding areas are the same. We have two church districts that were close to my parents' house who are stricter. Like they wouldn't have refrigerators and stuff. But yeah, those other than those two church districts, like everybody was the same. So pretty much the same. Shipshewana was the churches in the town of Shipshewana are always a step ahead of everybody else. Like they have washers and dryers now where nobody else does. They have e-bikes where other people don't.
Okay.
E-bikes. Do you guys have them all out there?
They have the e-bikes. Those are a big thing. There's in Winesburg, which is kind of the leading church of in here. They're all same church, but they're usually like a few years ahead of some of the others. And many people are selling their horses and buggies and are just using bikes now instead of horses and buggies. And because the horse and buggies are really expensive right now, and to keep it up, it's cheaper for them to just use the bike where they can, and then if they need it further, then just getting a taxi versus keeping up a horse. So yeah,
wow.
lots
Yeah.
of bikes around here.
No kidding. And usually our area is behind Holmes County by a couple of year or two or something. So well, they're coming.
Okay.
They're coming here too.
They're
But
coming.
yeah. Yeah. Davey says Indiana has her first, so northern Indiana. Hey Davey, how's it going? Has her first New Order as of about a year ago. So yeah, that's news to me. I didn't know that.
Yeah, thank you so much everyone for hopping on and for your comments. Really appreciate it seeing you guys. Cindy Lou, Davey, Noah, Kimberly.
Yeah. So I missed the beginning. Did you explain why you left the Amish in Ohio? Do you want to explain that again, or you want to leave it where it's at?
Well, we can just leave it where it's at, then you can kind of go back and then we're not repeating it, the same thing.
Yeah. I know we started out from the get-go when there wasn't a lot of people watching, but yeah, that's.
Yeah, right. And I guess I don't think I asked you, when was it that you left and why you guys left? But maybe you have videos on that too.
I do, yeah. My first video is on that. So I was in Rumspringa for a while, then I joined the church for about 9 months, a year maybe, and then I left again. It was through a breakup. I joined hoping to get married, and then that didn't happen, so I just moved to Idaho and left. But I was saved when I was 15. I would say when I was 15, and during Rumspringa, God was always trying to draw me out of that and draw me away from the Amish. I can see that now. I didn't see it at the time. I had no idea that you could be saved, right? I always thought you had to become a member of a church, be baptized, and then hopefully you'll get to heaven.
Right.
But yeah, now I know different, and now I can see. Yeah, he was trying to get me out of there from the get-go. So it was just a matter of time. But yeah, so that's the short of it. There's more details on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
So Dan, you said the Dan Amish. You lived amongst the Dan Amish. Were they really? They were really strict, correct?
They were not as strict as the Schwarzentrooper Amish, but they were very strict. Yes, they almost do not change. Like they do not. The old order really, the IC Church, they really drift or change. Where the Dan Church, they do not change much. They are very, very traditional, and even if it's right or wrong, we do not change things. They're very traditional minded and very strict.
Somebody had mentioned in one of my videos, I mentioned that because I was told this, I should have fact checked that the Dan Amish, when somebody becomes a member of the Amish church and then leaves, that they actually put a gravestone in the graveyard for them. Is that true or is that false? I might have to correct that.
I have never heard of that before.
Okay, so I might have to take
never,
that. Try to take that out of the video.
I do know that when someone leaves, they get like shunned, like you're shunned, totally shunned. But I have never heard of that before.
No kidding.
That sounds awful.
I know it does.
For someone.
Somebody in my comments and on that video said that that's not true. So I should have fact checked and not put it in there. But I'll have to correct that somehow. But yeah, so living. Wait, I'm trying to figure out where Waynes County is.
Wayne County is right next to Holmes County. It's just north of Holmes County.
Okay.
And when you drive through what is considered Holmes County, part of it might be Wayne County.
Okay, because we usually hung out in Berlin and Millersburg area. With that surrounding area
Holmes
would be
County.
That would be Holmes County. Yeah.
And Wayne County is just north of that.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So further, is that up towards Apple Creek and?
Apple Creek would all be Wayne County.
Oh, okay. So did you live close to Lehman's store?
Lehman's is right in Kidron. That would also be in Wayne County. We had, I don't know how, maybe 10 miles to Lehman's or something. So we lived pretty, like 4 miles between Apple Creek and Fredericksburg.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you know where Yoder Custom Meats is. That's kind of all that some people know. Miller Sales is in that area, about 4 miles north of Fredericksburg.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we were just Saturday. We were at Lehman's.
Okay.
We were just coming through there, but yeah, we were out and about. I still want to move. Is the land expensive out there?
It is. It is really high. I don't know. How is it in Indiana? You still live in Indiana?
Oh, close by. Yeah, I live on the outskirts of the community, but it is expensive. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Jeff says Wayne County is Worcester High. Yes, Worcester is also Wayne County.
Yeah. Okay, I see. Now I'm kind of now I know where we're at. Yeah, if it's been an hour, if there's anything else you want to share, or I have to think up of more questions. There is more.
Yeah, there's always different topics we can talk about, but I don't know offhand something. I think we covered a lot. We covered a lot of different things.
Yeah, we did. Hopefully, yeah. Yeah, well, if that's it, I might go have dinner. Sometimes these go longer, but I usually try to keep them at an hour. It doesn't happen.
We're perfectly on.
Yeah. But make sure, guys, this is Erma. Thank her for doing this. Hopefully that gives you guys a little insight into the Amish women side of it. Since I can't share that, go to her channel, subscribe to her channel. Let's get her over 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, the link is in the description box. After this video, after we're done being live, I'll put the link to her channel in my description box. The link is in the chat right now. I'll put the link in the description box as soon as this is over. So,
and I think I can upload it from mine too, and then I'll put your link in my description as well. So
okay.
For those that are coming from my channel, this is Carl. That's your name, right?
Yep, Carl, CJ.
Yep. Yes. And so, yeah, go ahead over and check his stuff out too. I think you could get a lot of insight from getting different areas and stuff. So.
And then ask your questions. Ask the questions. We'll answer them.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I was happy to clap and get to know you a little bit better than your story.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I've been watching your videos, so keep doing that. Just keep uploading regularly, and yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting stuff. So
yeah, very good.
All right, we will talk to you later. Maybe we can do this another time.
Yeah.
You have
Thank you everyone for joining, and you have a good evening.
Yep. And you have a blessed week, everybody.
Yep. Thank you.
We'll see you.